Hi everyone, welcome back to the Freelance Mama. I am Kelly and I am here to help you learn how to start your own freelance business super fast. So in today's video, I wanted to answer a question that I have seen come up online, and that is, how can I start a business with no money? So you might think that that is unrealistic and that it would be really hard, if not impossible, to start a business with no money, but I disagree and I want to tell you why. So what business can you start with no money? Well, I believe you can start your very own freelance business with no money. Why do I believe that? Well, I did it myself, so I know it is something that you can do. So how do you do that? Well, a freelance business is a way that you work as a contractor and sell your own skills to other people. So basically, all you need to have is the skills that you can have and set an hourly rate. And then you probably only need a phone, a computer, and an internet connection. So for most of us these days, those are things that we already have access to. So that's why I say you don't have to spend any money. Now, when I started my freelance business, I had a dodgy old laptop that I had from my uni days. It was a bit glitchy. It didn't have all the mod cons on it. It was a bit sad, really. We had a desktop computer at home that, again, was not the greatest, but was usable. And I had my existing phone, not the flashiest model, but it had all of the things I needed to make a phone call and send a text message. So it did the trick. And of course, we had a home internet connection. So it didn't cost me anything to start working as a freelancer. Now, as time went on and I was getting paid more money, I was able to add some additional things to that, but it didn't cost me anything to get started. After a while, I did buy a new laptop and I bought a printer. But aside from those things, you don't need a lot to start a freelance business. And like I say, most of us will either have those things at our home or we will have the ability to access them some other way. So, where to there? So using some tips for you so you can use resources that you already have. Now, it can seem like really attractive when you start a business to go out and get all the flashy things, and you might think, well, there's actually services that I want to provide where I'm going to need certain software, I'm going to need certain tools. What I would say is that if you don't have the money to spend on those things at the start, don't. Start your business using things you already do have access to. So you can, make it a plan, make it a goal of yours to expand your services later on. But if you don't have access to those services, use the things you have and then make it a plan to add other services, add other things once you can afford to actually pay for those things down the track, once you've done some work, put some invoices out there and got paid. You don't necessarily have to start with your ideal offering. You can start with something that will start bringing the money in, and then later on you've got the money to spend on other things. So another thing you can do is make the most of free or cheap resources. I've seen so many people, and I've done this myself, go out and spend money on things that you don't actually need to have. So you might think, oh, well, I need to have a website, I need to have business cards, I need to have I don't know, like one of those Gmail accounts that links to your domain name, those kind of things. Now, all of those things cost money and you don't need to have them at the start. So make the most of the free things. If you want to have a website, there's lots of free website platforms out there that you can use to create a website. It might not be perfect. It might not be, the flashiest domain and look all professional, but it's something that you can use as a start if you feel like you need that. And in fact, in most cases, I don't think you even really need a website to get started as a freelancer. There's lots of subscriptions for things that you can use for free. You can use things like Canva if you're doing design work. Make the most of the free things until you've actually got some money coming in and you are able to then pay for the extra subscription. So, don't feel like you can't do it. Don't feel like you can't start because you haven't got, all the flashy tools and things that are out there. There's things you can do as a starting point and build from there. Now, the other thing that you can do as well is if you want to do a certain type of work and you do need access to certain tools or resources, you could make it a condition of doing the work that you're going to bill the customer for those. So if the customer needs you to use a particular piece of software to do a job for them, and you don't have access to that, you could ask them, do they have it? Do they have something that you can use that to do the work for them? Or you can say, look, I don't have access to this thing. and I need it to do the job, it's going to cost me $80 to buy it, and I'm going to add that onto my invoice. And I would say that in the majority of cases, people probably are okay with that. Just because that, if they need to get the job done, then that's just a cost of doing the job. It's like if you have a plumber come to your house and they need, I don't know, to buy some tape or something, then they do it. So it's just part of the cost of getting the job done. That's happened for me before. There was a program that I needed that I didn't have, and my client was prepared to pay for that piece of software so that I could do the job for them. I mean, I didn't otherwise need the piece of software, so that worked out really well. And yeah, again, I just reinforce, don't get things that you don't need. Like business cards, like I mentioned before, it's one of the things that people feel like they really need to have. And sometimes you can get those and you can put the time into creating them and spend the money getting them, and then you don't use them. I've done it before. We did it for a business that we went about creating business cards, and I ordered 200 of them and got them mailed to me, and that was all very nice. And then one of us changed our phone number, and in the time between when we got them and when we changed the phone number, it had been a few years even, and we'd only handed out maybe 10 of the things. So it was a complete waste of money. So don't rush into doing those things. If you really want to have them and you feel it's really essential, print one out. Get a piece of cardboard and print it out, and just so you've got something. You can do something that's relatively professional, relatively cost effectively, without having to waste money, and let it prevent you from getting started in your business because you feel like you need all of the things. So basically, to sum it up, I believe 100% you can start a freelance business without having to spend any money.